Okay, so let's get our posture right again to sideways. So let's try to get ourselves a little bit taller while I let more people in. Okay, so you're just gonna push the top of your head up. Try to get your shoulders kind of away from the ears. Okay, and then you can just kind of relax. Okay, so once again, deep breath in. Get yourself bigger and taller. Okay, you can even squeeze your thighs a little bit to press the heels in the ground. Okay, and then relax. Okay, let's do 5 times. Number 3. Okay, try to get your shoulders a little bit wider apart. Okay, not necessarily pull back, but just wider. Okay, and then relax. Okay, and number 4. Okay, almost try to bring the back of your head up a little bit. So it's a little backwards, a little bit upwards. Okay, and relax. Okay, one more time. Okay, and relax. Okay, so let's do practice a hip hinge first. So we're just going to slide our hands back, pushing it back, keeping our spine nice and tall, feeling a stretch behind the hips. Okay, as we come up, we're just going to reach up to the ceiling, maybe starting off not so high. Okay, so kind of maybe breathing out as you push the hips back, okay, and then breathing in. As you come up, maybe reach a little high if your shoulder allows for it. Okay, so this is number 3. Okay, and 4. Okay, and number 5. Okay, let's go into a little bit more squatting. So we're gonna still push our leg back. We're gonna bend our knees a little bit more this time. Still try to push your knees out slightly. So we're just gonna sit on a tall stool. Okay, and as we come up this time, let's do a little bit of weight shifting. So we just, as we come up, we're gonna shift our weight one side and then reach up. Okay, and then we're just going to squat down again. Okay, as we go up, try to reach sideways a little bit again. So we're just gonna do kind of 5 per side. Okay, so I'll be squatting down and reaching up and across. Maybe deep breath in. Okay, so squatting down again. Okay, and number 2. Okay, we're gonna do 10 times or 5 per side. If you feel comfortable, you can go stick your bum back a little lower. 3, 4, okay, and continue on. Let more people in. Okay, 5. Okay, and 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and 10. Okay, let's try to get ourselves feet even wider this time. Okay, we're just going to shift out, also still push up back, bending one knee only. So you're going to almost reach towards one ankle, okay, and then try to reach towards the other ankle, feeling a stretch in the straight leg. Okay, so let's do also 10 times. So 3, 4, okay, make sure your back is still nice and straight. 5, 6, so a little bit of rotation upper body. 7, 8, but mostly is feeling a stretch in the straight leg. 9, okay, one last time. Okay, and 10. Okay, when you go back to more standing, okay, and we're just gonna do a whole rotation. You're gonna turn your entire hips, turn your feet, you're gonna reach and try to open up the palm. Okay, and then you're gonna turn around and do the opposite way. Okay, 2, 3. Okay, so make sure you turn your feet. 4, okay, turning your hips. Try to still reach. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and shaking things up. Okay, let's just focus on the shoulders a little bit. So we're going to go into kind of a circle of the shoulders. Okay, pulling back and down. Okay, a couple of times forward. Okay, and let's just go into a full circle. If there's any pain, just avoid those areas. Okay, but slowly see if you can reach up a little higher. Even see if you can reach back almost a little bit. Okay, and 2. Let's do 5 times. 3, 4, 5. Okay, and this one maybe hold on to the chair, but you're gonna stick one leg out. Okay, and you're just gonna reach back and imagine try to sweep the floor and come back up. Okay, so if you want, you can hold on to something on one hand and you're just going to stick one foot, one heel out, and you could imagine try to reach the ground, feeling a stretch behind your leg. Okay, so if you feel comfortable, you can just do it with both arms. Okay, so let's call this number 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's switch legs. So kick it out, feet forward. Okay, so reaching towards the ground. 1. You just, if there's tall grass, you try to just sweep your hands through them. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's have 1 foot forward, one leg forward, one leg back. Okay, you try to just pull the front of your pants up a little bit. Okay, and you're just going to go back and forth a little bit. So the front knee doesn't go too far forward, so it's not quite this way. So try to see if you can get yourself upright first. Pull the front of your pants up, and you're just going to go forward and back a little bit, feeling most of the stretch in the straight front of the straight leg. Okay, so 3, 4, 5. Okay, and let's switch legs. Okay, same idea. Try to pull the front of your pants up first, straight out the back leg, and try to just push the hips forward and not so much the knee. So push the hips forward. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's bend our elbows and the knee. So let's got a little bit of coordination. Let's bend the opposite hand and leg. So just this is my left hand, my right leg, and then vice versa. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's work on our balance a little bit. Let's try to stand on one foot. Okay, if you need to, grab a chair to hold on to. Okay, so let's just try to also coordinate a little bit. So try to push your foot out and your hand out at the same time, and then bring them back in together. Okay, so it's a little bit of coordination, left brain, right brain together while we move the kind of shoulder and hip joints a little bit. Okay, and let's switch sides. So still lifting one foot up, one hand, opposite hand out. Okay, so hand out and also hip out at the same time. Okay, the knee and the elbow stays in the same place. Okay, but the hand and the foot goes a little further and goes in a little further. So maybe try a couple of times where you try to push out a little more. Okay, and a couple of times where you try to bring them in a little more. So maybe harder on the feet. Okay, hands should come in quite comfortably. Okay, let's try to rotate our ankle and the wrist at the same time. Okay, see if you can even do it in opposite direction. So hand and the foot moving in opposite direction. Okay, and then try to move all your fingers and your toes at the same time, or the opposite hand and leg at the same time. Okay, let's do the same on the other side. So still see if you can move your ankle and your wrist in the same direction. So I'm kind of doing clockwise in my perspective. Okay, and then see if you can do counterclockwise with the feet and the ankle, feet and the wrist. Okay, and see if you can do opposite direction. Okay, and then switch the other way. Okay, and then see maybe you can work all your toes and then work all your fingers at the same time. Okay, and then just shake everything out. Okay, so still the idea is just to move all our joints. So you can do this in multiple ways, but we just so we can either do what we usually do, or we can do these broad movements where we try to move multiple joints, things like that. Okay, so let's head on to the aerobic part. So let's once again still grab our towels. And I'm going to start the clock. We're still aiming for kind of 10 minutes. Of course, if you have time, we might want to do more. Okay, so let's start off with just still rotation first. Okay, but see if you can wrap your hands a little bit around the body. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and let's try going opposite. So going to the hip on the lower side and then cross one shoulder. So let's call this 3, 4, 5, 6. So still warming out the shoulders and most of the shoulders. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, opposite way. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's get our feet moving a little more, and then we're just going to circle. Just put the cape or put the towel around us, so doing a circle around. Okay, if you can, see if you can get your hands almost behind your back a little bit. So we usually call this a halo. Okay, just moving the shoulders a little bit. So let's call it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and let's shake it up and we'll do the opposite direction also 10 times. Okay, still warm up the shoulders. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so top of the shoulders might be getting a little fatigued, so let's give it a rest. Okay, let's get our heart rate a little higher. Okay, it's just moving our feet and hands a little bit quicker. So let's aim for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's try to keep our heart rate. Okay, so we're just going to go forward and back a little bit. Okay, see if you can maybe move. Let's do a different pattern in hands. So let's try up and down at the same time. Maybe like, I guess, riding horse maybe. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, can we go side to side? And then we're just going to march side to side a little bit at the same time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and just back to marching. Okay, so let's do a little bit bigger step. So we're gonna actually change the pattern a little bit. So we're gonna go side to side and we're gonna go swing side to side at the same time as well. So it's a big step with our towel swinging in the same direction. Okay, so just get a pattern first. Okay, and when we're ready, we're gonna go maybe a little bit faster, maybe a little bit bigger motion, up to you. So either of those two. Okay, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, can we go the other way? So we're going to go a little smaller, but a little faster. So it'll be just a smaller step, a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and still the same pattern, but this time let's try to bring our leg up a little more. Okay, so we're just going to do a side swing. Okay, but this time instead of just side to side, we're also going to kick our heel up closer to the butt, feeding the muscle in the back of the thighs. Okay, so let's do big motion for 10 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and let's do the opposite direction a little bit. So we get the arms pattern right first. Okay, when we're ready, we're gonna do a bigger motion. You can go 1, 2, or you can do bigger motion, a little bit faster swing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's stretch it up again just to give our back of our thigh a little bit of a rest. Okay, so we're just going to get the towel in one hand, maybe switch it a little bit so you're holding, I don't know, like a chicken or something like that, or a bird of some kind. Okay, and we're gonna do just trying to go up and down with the hands. Okay, and we're gonna actually do the opposite, like a jumping jack on the other hand or other leg. So we just up and down, maybe a little awkward with the towel side. But let's give it a try. So you might have to hold it a little bit closer to the middle, almost like a weight. So be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and just shake it up. And we'll keep the heart rate up by moving a little bit. Feel free to slow down or rest at any point. And then we'll switch to the other side. So kind of just hold the towel in the middle a little bit. So we're just mostly using it almost like a weight. Okay, and same idea, almost like a half jumping jack. So just moving up and down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And just back to the marching. Okay, so holding the hands. Again, we're about halfway in, so have 5 more minutes to go. Okay, so let's go back to swinging. Okay, but this time, let's just try to go in a little bit faster motion now. So you can also just choke up on the towel a little bit, and that will allow you to move a little bit quicker. So I just grab a little closer to the end. So I can just swing a little bit faster. Okay, so same motion, you're still gonna move the hips side to side. Okay, but this time let's try to go a little bit faster. So let's try to aim for 10 seconds. Okay, so ready and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And back to marching, taking a little bit of an active break. So anytime you feel tired, feel free to just slow down, maybe do a little bit of march. Okay, but try to keep moving in some ways. Okay, let's do the same thing, but this time just from hip to shoulders. So once again, smaller motion, but a little bit quicker. So your feet might not turn much, but your hips should be turning side to side. Okay, so let's try one direction first. Okay, so we're just gonna be almost like, I don't know, swatting some flies maybe. Okay, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and back to our active rest. Okay, so a small motion, anytime you're moving quickly, you can't really do too big of a motion. So smaller, just from hip to shoulders. Okay, and let's try the same thing on the other side. So outer hip to outer shoulders. Once again, small, quick motion. Ready, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I think I was counting a little slow that time. I'll make a bad boxing referee probably by counting fast sometimes and counting slow sometimes. Okay, so let's try overhead. Okay, but this time we're swinging. Let's swing it on one hand. So you grab the towel in one hand only. Okay, so you're just gonna do a jump and then try to swat down. So you're just pushing your butt back and then flipping up. Okay, so try to see if you can maybe throw it down a little faster. So let's do about 10 times. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So you might feel a little bit fatigue, maybe in the back of the arm because we try to swing it down quickly. Okay, let's try the same thing on the other side. After a brief rest, just get the towel right first. Okay, so same idea, gonna fling back. Okay, and 1, 2, 3. You can imagine just really just try to throw it to the floor. 5, 6, 7, but you're not just using your arm, you try to also use your lower body a little bit. 8, 9, and 10. And back to marching on the spot. Okay, so we have about 30 seconds left. So let's practice our hip hinge again. So this is the one where you swing it between your legs. Okay, and you're just trying to throw the towel up overhead and then back down. Okay, so this time let's do the opposite. Try to fling up real quick. Okay, and you can just let it drop down. As you come down, see if you can push the butt back. Okay, so let's do about 10 times. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. My knees don't bend all that much. 5, 4. It's my hips that's going back. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and that was 10 minutes. So hopefully your heart rate went up a little bit. Maybe work up a little bit of sweat. Okay, so let's slow down a little bit. Maybe grab some water. So ideally aerobics, once again, we want at least 10 minutes at a time where we get our heart rate at least up a little bit and maintain it for at least a couple of minutes. Ideally, you need at least 115 minutes of this per week. So that's why we might have to do multiple sets or at least multiple days of this. And now we're just going to move on to the strengthening part. Okay, so you can, if you have a bag, you can grab that one. And today, it doesn't hurt to have a chair. I don't think we're going to be sitting too much today, but we can still have the chair. Actually, for the first one, we can have the chair out. Okay, so today let's work on maybe let's try a combination movements. So combination movement being we're doing kind of couple exercises together. Okay, so the first one is going to be a combination of a curl exercise. So just to review, a curl is where you just step on a band. It could be one side or both sides. Okay, and you're just bending your elbow, so feeling the muscle in the front of the upper arm. Okay, so this is a rear curl. Okay, we're going to combine that with a squat. So squatting is the one where your legs is about a little bit wider than your hips, toes pointing out slightly. I should maybe back up a little bit so I'm in the frame. Okay, so I'm going to push the butt back, bend your knees a little bit, and we're aiming for about chair height. So I'm not really sitting on it, I'm just tapping my butt on the chair and then coming up. So this will be a squat. Okay, and we're making it more complicated today. So we're going to also add a press at the end as well. So a press is you're pushing upwards. So usually elbow to shoulder height is usually safest for most people. If your shoulder allows for it, you can go a little high up, but only go as far as you can comfortably do. Okay, so the first few reps probably don't go too high. Once again, you start off just elbow to shoulder height. Okay, so we're going to do a combination. If you have two bands, you can do it together. I kind of have only one band today, so I'm going to do one side first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a curl first. Okay, and then we have keeping the arms up. I'm going to go into a squat, coming back up. Okay, and then we're going to do a press at the end. So that's one rep. Okay, and then come back down. So it'll be curl, squat, back up, okay, and then a press. So that's number 2. Okay, so we'll do a curl again. So down and up, squat, okay, and press. Okay, so that's 3. Okay, so curl, squat, okay, and press. Okay, so that's 4. Curl, squat, and press. Okay, so that's 5. Oh, sorry, what? Curl. Kind of messed up a little bit. Squat, okay, and up. That's number 6. Okay, so curl, squat, and press. Okay, and curl, squat, okay, and press. Okay, so the shoulders and the bicep gets a little more tight because it's holding, after you curl, you're holding it, and then when you squat down, your shoulders is maintaining it, while the legs don't get too tight. So actually, we're going to switch hands to the other side. So work on the other arm and also give our lower body a little bit more work to do. Okay, so still set up your height first, or the width of your stance first. Just letting someone in. Okay, so same sequence. So when you go into a curl, okay, go into a squat, okay, and press. Okay, so same sequence. Okay, so it'll be curl, squat, okay, and press. Okay, curl, squat, okay, and press. Curl, squat, and press. I think this is number 5. Okay, curl, squat, and press. So that's number 6. Curl, squat, and press. Number 7, let's aim for about 8. Curl, squat, okay, and press. Okay, so you could always combine different things together. You could always play around with how that, what it feels like. Okay, so let's do another combination now. So that's those 3 kind of work together. So let's do another 3 that kind of works together as well. So let's go into the hinge pattern. So this is, you're gonna have both, this one is for with both arms together. So you're gonna step on the middle of the band, feet maybe roughly hip width apart. Okay, so squat with this shoulder width. This is a little bit more narrow. Okay, so if you're holding a dumbbell, you can just still hold on, but get your feet distance right. Okay, so the hinge first. So this time I'm gonna push the butt back. Okay, and my knees don't, it bends, but it's not moving forward. So I'm not doing this. I'm pushing my butt back, and my knees kind of stays in the same place. Okay, and my hands just kind of dangle down. My back is in a longer, so this is shorter and kind of slouching. We want it to be a little longer. Okay, so the first pattern is the hinge pattern. So you're just gonna go down, okay, and stand back up with the weight. So you're pretty much picking out 2 buckets of water, pretty much. So you're kind of bending down to grab the handles, okay, and you push your hips forward, and naturally you stand up with the 2 buckets. Okay, so this is the first pattern. So this is the hinge part. Okay, second part, we're gonna do a roll. So you're gonna pull something closer to your chest. Okay, so you're gonna pull, get the elbows kind of back, your shoulders back. So this is the roll part. Okay, so, and the third one is kind of similar, but we're gonna do kind of like a reverse fly. So it's gonna be something like, you know, pull it apart a little bit with the arms a little straighter. So don't have to go too hard for this one. Okay, you're gonna try to just give a straighter arm, go sideways like this. So this angle looks something like this. Okay, so let's reset first, take a breather. Okay, so we're gonna do this 1 of each. So we're gonna go hinge, roll, and then let's call the last one a fly. Okay, so it looks something like this. So it's hinge. So grab those handles, pull it up to your chest once. Okay, and then try to bring out to the side once. Okay, and back up. Okay, so it'll be hinge, roll, fly, okay, and back up. Okay, so hinge, roll, fly. Let's call this number 3, and back up. Hinge, roll, fly, and back up. Okay, hinge, roll, fly, and back up. Okay, so hinge. So remember not to bend your knees too much. Roll, fly, and the last one, I'm not pulling up that high for the fly one. So I'm not trying to get up like all the way up here. I can just pull it up a little bit. Just feel the back of my shoulders working a little bit. So hinge, roll, fly. Okay, let's do 2 more. So let's get to 8. Okay, so 7, roll, fly, back up. Okay, last time, hinge, roll, live. And probably you might feel your back might be the one that's the most fatigued, just because we're in this kind of bench over position. It's good to work on the endurance of our back, just because when we don't have the endurance anymore, and then let's say we're carrying something heavy, and then because we're tired, we start to run our back. That's when people tend to maybe hurt themselves a little more likely. So we actually want to have the endurance to keep this straight position for a longer period of time. Okay, so let's shake it out. We're gonna practice our balance a little bit, just to kind of take a break with all these combination of things. Okay, so for this one, let's just try to, let's go into that tandem stance again. So tandem stance is the one where you have your one foot in front of the other. Okay, so find a stance, once again, that you can kind of balance a little bit. So if you feel like you're really wobbly, get your feet a little wider. If it's too easy, try to see if you can really form a straight line. The feet shouldn't be turned out or turned in. It should be both pointing in the same direction. Okay, so, and then your weight, try to see if you can balance between the two. So instead of your weight kind of all the way to just on my back leg, okay, or all the way in my front leg, okay, see maybe it's just somewhere in the middle. Okay, so just find a spot where you can, maybe a little challenging. Okay, and what we're gonna do is really move one hand a little bit. So just move your hands up and down, okay, and see if you can still maintain your posture and your balance while you're moving your hands up and down. Okay, so because your hands are moving, the weight is getting thrown around, and that might kind of throw your balance off a little bit. Okay, so see if you can maintain that. Okay, you can always switch sides. Okay, and that might change a little bit. Okay, you can try both hands, and you might actually find it to be a little bit easier because the weight of your hands kind of balance each other, or it could be a little more difficult. If you go together, it's probably easiest. Okay. But if you try to do together, side to side, okay, this might be more challenging. Okay, whereas if you go separate hands and coming together, that's probably easier as well. Okay, so you kind of play around on different patterns, see which one kind of throws your balance off a little bit, and that's the one we want to work on. Okay, so let's switch which leg is forward. Okay, so once again, find a stance where it's manageable. And once again, see if you can shift your weight kind of somewhere, so it's kind of, the weight is kind of balanced between the two feet. Okay, and when you're ready, once again, you can start off with just moving your hand up and down. Okay, you can go try to see if you can go a little further out, a little further in. Okay, see if that makes any difference. You can try different hands again. Okay, so just switch angle. Okay, you can try to move your hands maybe side to side. Okay, you can try to even do circles, maybe one way. Okay, circles other way. Okay, you can even try to almost try to imagine maybe reaching side to side a little bit. Okay, this one you really have to maybe try to coordinate, move your hips in the opposite direction in order to stay balanced. So once again, it doesn't have to be fast. Okay, just find something that throws off your balance a little bit. And that's the one we want to work on. Okay, and as you, it might get easier after we are used to it. Okay, and let's shake it out. So a little bit of an active rest with the balance. Okay, so let's go back to the two kind of combination we did. Okay, so once again, we need to do more than one set to stimulate kind of a muscle growth. You actually need to do more than even one day in order to have any effects. Especially if you've been doing this for a little longer. Okay, so just to review, you're gonna step on and bend on one side. You're gonna go, there's 3 exercises combined together. The first one is the curling exercise. Okay, so you curl up. Okay, second exercise is you're gonna squat down, pushing the butt back and back up. Okay, and the last one is you're gonna do a press overhead. Okay, so letting someone in again. Okay, so I'm not gonna explain too much, okay, but let's try this again let's try about 8 times per hand. And so after we've done 8 times, I'm gonna switch to the other side. Okay, so you can go curl, squat, okay, and press. Okay, and back down, curl, squat, press. You can even move your free hand if you want to. Makes it easier to coordinate, I find. Squat, press, curl, squat, press. I think that was number 5. Curl, squat, press. 6. Curl, squat, press. That's number 7. Curl, squat, and press. Okay, so probably maybe the shoulders might be the one that's the most tired. Okay, let's switch arms. Give that shoulder a rest. Okay, so still same pattern, curl, squat, press, and curl, squat, press. Okay, so what if kind of if you're doing it both arms, it might not be, the band might not be long enough. So you might have to adjust. A dumbbell probably works a little better for this. Okay, so I think that was 5. Curl, squat, press. Okay, so I'm only doing it, even though I'm moving both arms, only one of my hand is tied to the band. Okay, so let's call it 7. Okay, and last one. Okay, and back up. Okay, so once again, your shoulders might be the one that's most tight. Okay, so what if I want to balance things out a little bit because my legs don't feel anything right now? So what I can do is instead of just doing 1 curl and 1 squat, what I can do is I can still do 1 curl, but I can do 2, maybe 2 squats, okay, and then 1 press. So you can vary the number of what's in each exercise. Okay, so let's shake things out a little bit. And let's review the second combination. So this combination is as a hinge pattern. So feet shoulder width apart. This is the one where you're picking up 2 buckets. And let me switch to a dumbbell just so I can, just to show that it can be done. These things might be more easier, I suppose, with a dumbbell rather than the band. So you're still going to be squatting there, hinging back. Okay, you can do a roll, okay, and a fly. So when you're flying, if you bend your arms a little bit, it makes it easier. Whereas if you keep your arms really straight, that makes it more difficult. So probably you can adjust the difficulty by either bringing it closer to your body or further out. Okay, so let's give it a try. So still hinge, so I'm putting down my weight, I'm pulling it close to my body for the roll, okay, and bring it further out for the fly, okay, and sending back up. Okay, so 2 and wide, and back up. Okay, 3, roll, fly, 4, roll, fly, 5, roll, fly, 6, roll, fly, okay, 7. So the difference between a roll is that this one is close to my body, the fly is a little bit wider away from the body. Okay, let's call this, I think it's 7, roll, fly. Okay, last one, 8, roll, and fly. Okay, so this one might be your back that is the most fatigue. But once again, that's not necessarily a bad thing to train for. Okay, so let's shake it out. And let's do the balance one more time. Okay, this time, let's instead of just still holding in place, maybe we can try to do the inline walking. So instead of just holding in place while we do the basketball dribble, see if you can maybe walk forward in a straight line. Okay, while moving your hands. Okay, going backwards, always just be a little careful. Okay, let's see if you can switch hands. Okay, so you can always move your hands together. Okay, so back. Okay, you can even have your hands maybe a little high up. Okay, and maybe move your hands up overhead. Okay, it could be, once again, it could be anything. Or you can just, this is probably easier, but if you can move your hands in a bigger motion, side to side. Okay, and sometimes going slower might actually be harder. Whereas if you go fast, the momentum kind of keeps you balanced. Okay, whereas if you go a little slower, then you might have to just use your muscles to actually stabilize it. Okay, and you can always, of course, just look side to side. Balance is not that good today. Okay, and shake it out. Okay, so I think we're a little bit early today, but let's maybe you can go into the stretching part. The combination kind of takes more energy, so sometimes we can do a little bit less. Okay, so let's go into the stretching part. So shoulders remove a lot, so let's stretch that part up. So I'm gonna reach across, okay, and pulling my elbows, my arm close to our bodies. Deep breath in and out. Okay, just 35 deep breath, and we can switch sides. We also did the bicep. Actually, let's do this version today. So we did the chair version before. Let's use a wall for the bicep today. So you're gonna stand close to the wall. You're gonna put one hand up with the arm straight. Okay, and you're just gonna turn away from that hand. And as you turn, it's almost, for most people, you would feel a stretch in the bicep and maybe a little bit in the chest as well. So I'm just going to still stay close to the wall, okay, but turning away from the hand, that's straight. Once again, deep breaths in and out. After 35 deep breaths, okay, you put it switch sides. So this one, you do need to have your arms straight. Okay, just turning away from the straight arm. Okay, so since we're at the wall already, let's also stretch out our chest a little bit. So same, almost exact same thing, but instead of your arms straight, you're gonna have your arms bent. Okay, and trying to almost stay close to the wall. Once again, turn, and this time you feel it more in the front of the chest, front of the armpits. And whenever you want, just switch to the other side. If you move your feet, whatever that allows you to have more leverage to press or to turn. Okay, and kind of back out. Okay, so one more for the arm. Let's put our hands behind our back and let's just try to open the chest. Okay, and just shake everything out. Let's stretch the wrist. Okay, so palms together, fingers together. Bring your wrist a little bit lower. Elbow stays roughly in the same place. Feeling a stretch just in the wrist area. Check it out. And let's do the opposite. You're going to just grab the knuckles, try to pull our fingers towards our wrist while keeping the elbows kind of straight. Just feeling a stretch in the back of the hand, a little bit in the opposite, I guess, same side forearm. Okay, and switch whenever you want. Okay, and shake it out. For the back, wouldn't get onto a chair. So this one, if you get dizzy easily, maybe don't. Maybe you can skip this one. But what we're going to do is that we're just going to almost bend for a little bit. You can kind of even reach, if you can, you can reach the floor. If you don't feel comfortable, you can kind of put your hands on your thighs, or if you want, you can also go underneath a little bit. Okay, but what we're going to do is that we're just gonna, in this position, we're just going to take a deep breath in. And as you take a deep breath in, you should always feel your kind of your back rising a little bit, or your back expanding, I guess, is what's happening. Okay, so let's try to take a couple of deep breaths here. Okay, so we're using our breaths to kind of help kind of relax the back a little bit. Okay, for this one, probably come back up in stages. So kind of don't go up all the way. Move your feet a little bit. Okay, and when you feel, if it feels okay, let's see if it slowly go a little higher. Keep moving your feet. Okay, and just wait till you feel okay. Okay, so we also use the hips. So the back, we do whenever we're doing the pulling, we're using a lot of the back. Let's stretch the hips a little bit. So this one we've done before, but this is the one where you bring one leg up, okay, and reaching with the opposite hand. And you're just going to try to pull that leg kind of closer to your opposite shoulders. You can use both hands until you feel a stretch on the side of the butt. Okay, be careful that you're not too rounded. So see if you can still be a little taller, okay, which allows our spine to rotate properly. And repeat on the other side. So try to stay a little taller first. Okay, and then you're kind of pulling your knee towards the opposite shoulder. Okay, and come back. So when we're lifting something up this way, we use our hips. We also use the back of the leg a little bit. So this is, we want to stretch that out as well. So kick one leg forward. I like to hold on, at least have one hand on a chair, and the other hand I tend to just rest on my knee. Okay, just kind of pull my belly button forward. By feeling the stretch in the back of the leg. Okay, still deep breaths in and out. And we just try to pull the toes towards the ceiling for about 5 times. Okay, just to move out the nerve a little bit, okay, but not too much. Okay, so you come back, pause for a second. When you feel okay, then switch to the other leg. Okay, once again, pull your toes or point your toes towards the ceiling a little bit for about 5 times. And slowly come up. Give yourself a pause. When you're ready, we can stand back up and to stretch the front of the thighs. So this is the one where you, if you can, grab the ankles. If you cannot, you can grab either your pant legs, or if that's still too difficult, choke, put it in a chair behind you, so you can put your kind of foot on the chair. Okay, so any of those 3 versions. Okay, but in any case, see if you can lift the front of your belt buckle up. Okay, and see if you can point your toes down towards the floor a little more until you feel a stretch kind of in the middle of the thigh. Okay, so essentially you're pushing your hips forward while keeping your abdominals kind of stabilized. And just pay attention to where you feel the stretch. And we want it somewhere in the middle, kind of roughly in the middle of the quad muscle, which is just the front thigh muscle. Okay, and switch legs whenever you're ready. Okay, so still trying to point the toes towards the floor, also point the knees towards the floor. Lift the front of our belt up, our front of our pants up. Okay, check it out. Okay, last one. Let's stretch the calves. This one, either put your toes up on a chair or on a wall. I like to put it up on just a yoga block. And I'm just putting my toes up and just pushing, kind of moving my entire hip forward, feeling the stretch in the back of the calves. We're just taking deep breaths in and out. Okay, just switch. Okay, while we're here, we can stretch out just the other side of the ankle as well. So this one you can, it's more comfortable if you have your shoes on. We're gonna put one leg slightly backwards, bend the front knee a little bit, and you're just almost dragging the foot forward. Okay, so feel a stretch in the top of the foot, maybe a little bit in the ankle. So we're just kind of opening up the ankle in the opposite direction. Okay, check it out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So I like to bend the front knee just a little bit. Okay, very last one. Let's stretch the top of the shoulders. So sitting down, grabbing the chair, leaning away, and using our free hand, you can just lightly separate the shoulders and the ears. You can change the angle by looking down a little bit. Pause in the middle, and when you're ready, just do the other side. So I'm grabbing the chair, leaning away from that side. Okay, and just adding a little bit of overpressure using my free hand. Still taking deep breaths in and out. Change the angle. Going back. Pause as long as you need to. Okay, and that's all the time we have for today. So thank you for coming, everyone. Oops, let me just stop my recording.